Hello, human family. How are you? I hope everyone is good. Today, you guys, let me welcome the newcomers. For those of you new to the channel, I just want to say welcome. Welcome to Fully Alive Again, where we discuss everything around narcissism and how to heal ourselves and become fully alive again. If that sounds good to you, stick around because I got an awesome show for you. Today, you guys, I want to look at why the narcissist wants you to destroy yourself and how far they will go in doing this. Some will do it slowly. Some will have others do it. Some will convince you and lead you to do it yourself, be it to destroy your life or end your life. You are dealing with a very serious, sick, and evil individual when you're in a relationship with one of these people and you become their target. Today, I want to start this discussion and point out throughout our discussion with this video, a video that shows a very sick, disturbed narcissist, in my opinion, that you can really learn from and learn how to protect yourself and how to, most of all, listen to your own intuition. If you've survived narcissistic abuse, narcissists reveal themselves not only through the way that they look, the way that they carry themselves, and their odd behavior and their evil behavior, but they reveal themselves to your own intuition. We are the same entity from over 1 million years ago. This is the same human body. We are wired just like a flock of seagulls who can turn on a dime and a flock of geese that fly in unison, very cohesive. They're wired for that. There's a radar, an understanding that keeps them safe. A human being has that same wiring. That intuition, that protective knowing that's in us is always there, but it gets buried under modern noise and narcissistic abuse. But once you start to heal yourself, you can feel when someone is a narcissist. You see, fam, narcissism has been around since human beings had been around. How did other humans survive that? How did we build families and communities and lives worth living with these evil entities around? It's called intuition. But our modern society is so filled of so much intellectual clutter and so much noise and so much BS and so much narcissistic abuse that no one listens to their intuition anymore. We are always knowing what to do. We just don't adhere to it. I really mean this. And after you survive narcissistic abuse, your radar for narcissists, it is beeping all the time. Doesn't mean you have to call them out. Doesn't mean you have to go into the heat of battle. It just lets you know, okay, I see you. I operate differently. Just like you would in an airplane hitting turbulence. Intuition is paramount. And when you start to heal yourself again, and when you become aware of this and accept this, everything changes. So let's dive into this video clip, because this video is going to give us an opportunity, in my opinion, to see a real narcissist and to see where one of their victims made some serious mistakes that cost her her life. So let's dive in.
They both wanted uncomplicated, fast sex, and hooking up on the dating app Tinder was the perfect way to do it. But when Gable Tosti met Warina Wright 2 years ago, their night of passion ended in death. A drunken argument, fighting, and then a sickening scream as Warina fell 14 floors from Tosti's Gold Coast apartment balcony. That was horrific enough. But what drew further attention and condemnation was Tosti's unusual behaviour and apparent disregard for Warina, in the seconds and minutes after her death. Last month, Tosti was acquitted of murder after a jury heard an extraordinary piece of evidence, his own smartphone recording of what happened. Tonight, Gable Tosti speaks publicly for the first time. And we should point out the subject matter is confronting and some of the language explicit.
Hello, Dad. I might have a bit of a situation.
In the heart of surfer's paradise, a Tinder date has gone tragically wrong.
Like, I was alright at first, and we, had sex in bed, and then after that, she kept drinking.
In the early hours of August 8, 2014, Gable Tosti tells his father what has happened.
I think she thought it was like a joke or something, but she kept beating me up and whatever.
I will fucking destroy your jaw. It's not fucking funny.
I forced her out on the balcony. And I think she might have jumped off.
26-year-old New Zealander Warina Wright has fallen 14 floors to her death.
I've been walking around and there are a million cops around my building. I'm fucked. I don't know what to do today.
Gable Tosti was right to be worried. Police would soon charge him with murder. For 2 years now, he has maintained his silence, refusing to be interviewed by police or take the stand during his sensational trial.
Mr. Tosti, is there anything you would like to say today? How frustrating.
But after walking free, he is now ready to tell his side of the story.
Tosti's a pig!
Any comments about all this media, all this attention? This is the final time you'll walk the street. You won't see us for a long time. You must have some sort of relief about that. Nothing at all.
Any comment at all that you'd like to make?
You see, as an independent researcher for the last 5 years and having a narcissistic parent and almost every relationship I've had with people and being surrounded by these people for years, I am really starting to believe, and it's just a theory, that every murder, every war, every abomination, everything ugly and negative in this world is caused by a narcissism. I really believe that. And it's either, when it comes to murder, it's either someone murdering the narcissist because they had enough, or it's a narcissist murdering or getting someone to commit suicide, narcissists starting wars, narcissists crumbling down societies and institutions. I believe racism is the child and was given birth by narcissism. Everything ugly and negative come from these people. I really mean that. And this Tinder date exemplifies that. It really does. This is a perfect example of how something fun and agreeable turns into a nightmare.
So when that jury came back and said not guilty, that must have been a huge relief for you.
Absolutely. It was, they took their time, but, at the end of the day, they made the right decision.
Were you worried?
Well, it doesn't matter how innocent a person is. There's absolutely no comfort in being on trial for murder.
2 years ago, Gable Tosti was 28, addicted to fast cars, women, and bodybuilding. Surfer's paradise was his sexual paradise as well. When you met Warina Wright, you were a bit of a playboy, weren't you?
I wouldn't say playboy. I mean, I like meeting girls.
in the morning on that night, you hit the record button on your phone. Why did you do that?
Well, the question isn't so much why did I do that, but why wouldn't you do that? Because I used to go out quite a lot drinking. I don't have the best memory when I drink, and in this day and age, hitting record is, recording your night out is as easy as pressing a button and leaving your phone in your pocket.
But what for?
It's more of a just-in-case thing, because you're better off having something and not needing it than needing something and not having it. And
Just in case what?
just in case, well, you know, the thing that happened on the 8th of August 2014 is a perfect example.
Let's go back to that night and have a listen to how the events unfolded. You happy to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come here.
Have a good night. I'll close.
Don't close the door. No. Do you want me to walk you back home, or?
No, it's okay.
No, come on. No, don't be like that.
Just have a good night.
So everything's going okay at this stage, and you've offered
At that stage, yeah.
to walk her back home.
Yeah, if she was going to go home, if that was what she wanted to do, I would have been also happy to walk her back home.
So everything's going okay.
Yeah, at that stage, I noticed she was behaving a little bit quirky, and that's all I thought it was at first. And that's it.
Now, if you notice, the young lady wanted to go home. She kept saying, "Have a good night. I'm gonna go." And then he was talking her down from it. He's telling the interviewer from 60 Minutes that everything was going wonderfully. Now, this is at the start of the date. Now, why am I zoning in on this? Because her intuition was telling her there was something wrong with this guy. There was something in the communications that happened, something about the way that he looked in his very presence, but something was indicating to get out, to leave this person alone. That is your intuition, ladies and gentlemen. That matters. It matters a lot. Listen to it, and things will always work out. It's better to be wrong and safe. It's better to be wrong and safe about your intuition than to assume your intuition is wrong and you're unsafe. Listen to your gut about people and then assess, is it 100% right all the time? No, of course not, especially if you've gone through narcissistic abuse. Things can trigger you, especially if you've been raised or surrounded by these people. It's not 100%, but it's better to be safe than sorry than assess. Don't go into anxiety and get triggered by these things. Most narcissists will not do what this man did. I don't want to alarm or frighten people, but there is a lot of them that will, and all of them want you. If you're their target and have been discarded, they want your life ruined, be it physically, psychologically, financially. They want you either in misery or alive, or they want to end you. Yes. Do they go to the extremes of what this guy did? A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. It's much more subtle and insidious in terms of killing you slowly by gaslighting you and destroying your reputation. So let's continue. But the takeaway here is your intuition is number one.
That's your bag there, isn't it?
Yeah, but where's her shit? Where's my fucking shit?
Like what?
At 1:35 a.m., things started getting heated. Warina, clearly drunk, accuses Gable of stealing her phone.
No.
I will fucking destroy your jaw. It's not fucking funny.
Okay, she's pretty angry there.
Yeah.
Why is she so angry? She can't find her phone.
I'm not sure why she got so angry like that, but
I did a show about a month ago called Reactive Abuse. Reactive abuse is actually a psychological term that explains how people become abusive and aggressive when they're being abused, and how you can mistake the person that's being abused as the abuser because of their aggression and their off-putting behavior. Now, if you notice, he's very calm, like, yeah, she just started to get crazy chick, man. I'm just a swell guy trying to help her out. She was very angry and even said, stop laughing, it's not funny, because she couldn't find her cell phone. Do you think a narcissist would hide a cell phone to get narcissistic supply? Do you think a narcissist would do things to anger you and get you emotional to get narcissistic supply? Everyone that's been in a relationship with these kinds of monsters know that that's exactly what they're doing, and that's exactly what he did. So this goes back to the intuition. When someone is doing something to frustrate you, and you feel that, and you just get a little taste of it, listen to that, note it, and log it. She had 2 warnings already. Number 1, she wanted to leave earlier. Something felt off, and she didn't do it. Now, he's playing mind games with her, and she's getting frustrated and angry. Abort mission. But you know why she couldn't do that? Because she was intoxicated. She was drunk and maybe high. It's very important when you meet somebody on the onset and that you don't get obliviated and get intoxicated, rather, by alcohol or by their good looks, be it male or female. Everything I'm saying is cross-gender. It's about what they call persons. It's about people. These type of people are camouflaged in every demographic. So the takeaway on this clip is, number 1, again, intuition. Number 2, being intoxicated. She let her guard down with the wrong person. Let's continue the journey.
Why is she so angry? She can't find her phone.
I'm not sure why she got so angry like that, but we were looking for her phone apparently, and she couldn't find it, and she seemed to be blaming me for that, and I was offering to, call her phone to help her find it. And
Did you know where it was?
no, I didn't know where it was.
Okay, but at the time, as we just heard, she says, do you want me to destroy your jaw?
Yeah.
So, had she already hit you?
At that stage, it was kind of what I understood to be play fighting, but
Everything about this guy is so narcissistic that I'm stunned that a jury couldn't see that. And this is why it's so important to educate the public. Now back to the video clip. One of the things that he just said is that they were play fighting and that she had already hit him. If a person frustrates you to that level, ladies and gentlemen, and it's your first date, do you see how her intuition was right? And how she should have just left? She has already had a physical contact with him. And on his side, if I just meet a lady, and I don't care how fine she can be as fine as frog hairs. If we're already engaging at each other at that level, her ass has got to go immediately. There is no further discussions. My intuition, I listen to. You're going home. I will leave my own home if I have to before I sit here and argue with you and have the police or someone escort you out if you won't leave. This is where he's lying. His whole demeanor. There are so many physical traits about a narcissist in this guy that I am shocked. And you can tell that the interviewer can feel it too. He doesn't like this kid. But my point here is, again, if she wasn't intoxicated and if she was listening to her intuition, she would still be alive. I am not saying this to blame her. She is 100% a victim in my mind. But things went awry so quickly. Things tumbled downhill so quickly that I'm shocked that she stayed there. But I want to throw this in quickly too. People stay in relationships like this and tolerate this off-coloring behavior, this bad behavior, because they have been around narcissists all their lives. I am a person that did stupid stuff like this early on in my life. It wasn't until after I was married and divorced and with children that I even knew what narcissism and cluster B personalities were. So I'm not blaming this poor young lady, but I'm stating that she probably has been raised or abused by a narcissist somewhere in her life, and she is used to the drama and the bad behavior. Let's dive in again.
As you'll see throughout the night, it got worse and worse.
What do I have to do? Oh!
I think that was actually a rock being thrown at me.
You caught one there, did you?
Yeah, close range too.
It was after 2 a.m. that Warina started pelting Gable with small decorative rocks that he had in his apartment.
But I don't understand.
Oh! What?
But I don't understand, Jack.
Alright, I'll bow down.
Even at that point, I was trying to cooperate with whatever she had in her mind. I didn't know what else to do. I was just, I wanted it to stop.
Alright, that's enough.
No, that's not.
Sounds like you've tackled her there.
I think we're just wrestling at the time.
I'm a swell guy. We're just wrestling, just like I do with my boys. That to me is such narcissism. Oh, we're just wrestling then. I just thought, a girl I just met that's coming over, and yeah, you want to wrestle? I'm 6'3", 230 pounds. You want to wrestle? And she's 5'3". This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. He is getting narcissistic supply by everything that's going on. See, this is what's so bizarre and hard to understand about these people. They love drama. They love an argument. They incite an argument to get that narcissistic supply. They love to see you frustrated, angry, stressed. And for those of you who don't understand or haven't been in a relationship with these types of people, it's hard to understand this. But it's just as important that you're aware of these things too, because it's not if there are any of these people around you, it's how many of these people are around you. So he's having a ball. I mean, this is his night. He is digging everything that is going on. This is his jam. He's having the time of his life. Although you'll hear these next clips and you already see it with, well, we were just wrestling and I was trying to help her find her phone because I'm a swell guy. This stuff is incredible. But just watch how he blame shifts and becomes the victim. Just check it out.
Sounds like you've tackled her there.
I think we're just wrestling at the time.
Alright, that's enough. That is more than enough. You've worn out your welcome.
At that point,
You've decided that's enough.
I've told her, you know, you've worn out your welcome, and there's a point where I kind of paused for a minute and thought, what do I do? You know, how do I sort this out? She can't be in my apartment any longer.
This is fucking bullshit.
It's at this point the 6'3" Gable becomes menacing, threatening Warina with a choice of words the prosecution would later use to try to convict him.
You're lucky I haven't chucked you off my fucking balcony, you goddamn psycho little bitch.
Just a horribly, horribly unfortunate choice of words without having any idea what, you know, would happen next.
You're lucky I haven't thrown you off the balcony.
Yeah, and I didn't intend that as a threat. I intended it as a figure of speech to say, you're lucky I've been so tolerant with you.
I know, but Gable, as it turned out,
I know how it looks. It's absolutely, you know...
It's a shocker.
It is the worst, you know, to even mention the balcony. It's the worst choice of words one could have used.
These are the forensic photos of Gable's flat. Rocks litter the carpet. A telescope lays on its side on the table. Metres away is the telescope clamp that Warina grabbed and allegedly tried to use as a weapon. This is where it all goes horribly wrong.
This is where I've basically bundled her up and started to carry her out the nearest door.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
No!
Hmm?
No! No! No!
Trying to kill me, huh?
No!
Why'd you try to hit me with that?
No!
Huh?
No! 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 No!
Now remember, a narcissist is very strategic. They are cunningly strategic. He knows he has the microphone on. So he's talking to her to build evidence. You know that you're trying to hurt me. You're trying to kill me, huh? You're trying to hurt me. She's freaking out because she realizes that she has messed up. This guy is crazy and evil, and there's nothing she can do now. That's what the video of reactive abuse is about, and I'll put this on the end of this video. She is a perfect example of reactive abuse right now, but the evidence only shows her side of it. And he was cunning and clever enough to get her to that point. That's why in today's world, whenever you're engaging with anyone, if there's an opportunity to get away, not to have a physical confrontation, not to escalate things, not to win an argument, just leave. If that person thinks that they won and that you're belittled because you walked away and you take an L, take an L and have inner peace and live your life. Don't roll around in the mud with a pig. And unfortunately, because of the alcohol and manipulation, he convinced her to roll around with a pig. And now he's got a justification for his abuse and has an evil entity. He sees an opportunity to do what all narcissists dream of. I really believe this. And that's to end someone's life and to see it in real time. They salivate over this shit. I am not kidding. And this is a golden opportunity that he seizes upon. Just watch this.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
No!
Hmm?
No! No! No!
Trying to kill me, huh?
No!
Why'd you try to hit me with that?
No!
Huh?
No! 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 No!
We heard Warina scream no 33 times.
It's all on recording, you know? It's all been recorded.
she was begging to go home.
I would, but you've been a bad girl.
Why didn't you just use the front door?
Now, you have to remember here that he stated that he wanted her to leave and that she was trying to harm him. She says no 34 times while he's holding her in some kind of restraint position. And she says, I want to go home. The moment that anyone says they want to go home and you're restraining them to get you out of their apartment, you take them to the front door and you open the door and you hand them their belongings and you say good riddance. That's what a normal alpha male would do. But if you're a piece of shit narcissist, here's what you do.
It's all on recording, you know? It's all bad.
And she was begging to go home.
I would, but you've been a bad girl.
Why didn't you just use the front door?
You mean after I disarmed her?
Whenever. You had multiple opportunities.
Well, the first thing I did was try to make her walk out the front door.
I'm sorry, I just had to chime in again of the audacity of a man of his size with such a petite female to say, you mean after I disarmed her? Like I'm the victim. It's astonishing that a jury let this man go. She wants to go home. She's begging to go home. All you do is open the front door and say goodbye and get rid of her, or even call the police to say, this girl is throwing stuff at me in my apartment, long before it got to this point. But the way he looked at him, as if he was justified. You mean when I was disarming her? See, that's the narcissist, the blame shifting, the projection. And it's much too late for this poor young lady now.
To go home.
I would, but you've been a bad girl.
Why didn't you just use the front door?
You mean after I disarmed her?
Whenever. You had multiple opportunities.
Well, the first thing I did was try to make her walk out the front door.
But you restrained her again.
After she took the clamp.
For the second time, you had control of her, and you still chose not to use the front door. Why didn't you just use the front door?
Because that's only a question that you can ask in hindsight when you have to desperately get someone away from you and separate the two of you and try and de-escalate an altercation. It doesn't come into the equation that that person is going to climb off a balcony and fall 14 floors to their death.
But Gable, regardless, you had control of her. You were 6'3". She was 5'4". How far is it between the front door and the balcony door?
It was a lot closer to the balcony door, and it was wide open, and it was the logical option at the time.
I love how this 60-minute reporter can see that this guy's a bag of shit. Here again is a man saying that he was in such crisis with a 5'4" woman that he couldn't make a sound decision of not to put a drunk, emotional young lady on a 14-story balcony because he was in the heat of battle, like he was in Afghanistan or something, or fighting a man his own size. And it was a life or death situation. And being a swell guy, I had to make a quick decision. This is stunning. This guy is a bag of shit. A full-blown malignant narcissist, excuse me, who seized an opportunity to get the ultimate prize has these evil, sick, vulgar human beings, if we can really call them that, are. I am still just amazed that they did not convict this young man. It is just, money can open up doors and do things, and the right jury, etc., but he got off. It is what it is. But this guy planned this. He could have got this young woman out of the door several times. And watching this again, I have to reiterate, it is your intuition. Listen to that, young ladies. Listen to that, men and women. These things matter. She knew from the walking into this man's apartment that this did not feel right. And she should have left, and I wish to God she would have. Again, I am not blaming this poor young girl. Most people are oblivious that these monsters are all around us. So let's continue.
You mean after I disarmed her?
Whenever. You had multiple opportunities.
Well, the first thing I did was try to make her walk out the front door.
But you restrained her again.
After she took the clamp.
For the second time, you had control of her, and you still chose not to use the front door. Why didn't you just use the front door?
Because that's only a question that you can ask in hindsight when you have to desperately get someone away from you and separate the two of you and try and de-escalate an altercation. It doesn't come into the equation that that person is going to climb off a balcony and fall 14 floors to their death.
But Gable, regardless, you had control of her. You were 6'3". She was 5'4". How far is it between the front door and the balcony door?
It was a lot closer to the balcony door, and it was wide open, and it was the logical option at the time.
I would, but you've been
Just 27 seconds after Warina Wright is locked out on the balcony, she falls to her death. The haunting final scream recorded on Gable's phone. Did you hear her scream?
I didn't hear it with my own ears, no. I only realised that there was a faint scream that my phone audio picked up.
But your phone recorded that scream. Mm-hmm. We can hear that scream.
Yeah.
Through the locked balcony door.
Yeah.
But you reckon you didn't hear it?
Not at the time, no.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, all I saw was her on the other side of the rail for a fleeting moment, and then she was gone.
This is shockingly tragic and utterly ridiculous. His testimonial and his rebuttal to the questions. Just put a young drunk woman on a balcony, because I'm a swell guy, and standing there watching her, salivating, is my opinion, loving every moment of it, watches her climb on the other side of the railing of the balcony, doesn't rush to open the door and say, no, come in, and then has the audacity, the arrogance to say, I didn't hear her scream or fall. See, these are the kind of stupid things that narcissists say and do because they don't really grasp the whole energy of reality because they can't feel and they're not empathetic. But here's what I really want you to understand, that many psychologists fell at and many people aren't aware of. I have seen it with my own eyes. These people mutate and shapeshift their own face in their eyes. There is an energy of evil and presence that these people can do with their face and their eyes, where this evil entity and demon is coming up through them, that would scare the shit out of most people. And I've seen it more than once. And I put that before everything I love. Why this woman would crawl over that railing 14 stories up, which I wouldn't have the balls to do. She was deathly afraid of something. I personally believe he made those eyes or one of those demon faces at this poor young woman, and it scared the shit out of her. And she climbed over that rail because she had saw the devil, a real demon, for the first time of her life. I know people think this is crazy. I know people think that, come on. I am telling you, as sure as I am talking on this mic, that these people are capable of making demon faces, and or the demon just completely takes over them and you're looking at them and you feel and see nothing but sheer evil and darkness. And as I said earlier, it would scare anyone to death. That's why she climbed over that rail, because she was trying to get away from the real boogeyman. What you are looking at, this young man, is sheer 100% evil, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. I've never met the man. I don't know who he is, nor do I want to know who he is. But everything is screaming that this person is evil. Why else would a young lady climb over a rail 14 stories up, and you heard her begging and pleading, no, I want to go home, I want to go home. Does that sound like a threat to you? A young woman, 5'4", screaming to a 6'3" bodybuilder that I want to go home? That is sheer terror. She knows that she's dealing with a monster. And when he put her on that balcony wasn't room enough. And he knew that. And he knew, all I have to do is show her the evilness inside me, and she will jump over that railing or try to get away. And that's exactly what she did. This is the world and the reality that we live in. And God bless that young lady. But this man knew what he was doing. That's why he didn't put her out in the hallway. That's why he didn't take her to the front door. And shame on all of the jurors and prosecutors that did not convict this monster.
So who's the real Gable Tosti?
Who am I really? Well, I'm a pretty normal kind of guy.
Would you say you're a kind person?
To the people I care about, yes. And to the causes I care about.
Kind and caring?
Well, I'd like to think so.
But it's his actions that night that would call both his innocence and character into serious question.
But you've been.
When Warina fell from that 14th floor balcony to her death, it was what Gable did next that really raised suspicions. He didn't call for an ambulance. He certainly didn't call the police. His first action was to call his lawyer. But with no answer, he decided to get dressed and leave the building.
Hi, the person you have called is not available.
Where the fuck are my keys?
So why didn't you go out on the balcony to check to see if she was okay?
Instinctively, I knew that if I ran out there and somebody saw me looking over the edge and she had actually fallen all the way, it would look like, it would not look good. It would look like I had forced her over or something.
So you were worried about what it would look like for you?
Of course I was worried about her. I was absolutely terrified at what had just happened to her, but,
You just told me that you were a kind and caring guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And
you couldn't even be bothered to go out on the balcony and look over the side and see what had happened to her.
Well, whatever had happened out there had happened, and looking over the edge, that it doesn't help anybody. There's no purpose to it.
Wait, you kidding?
Well, no, I mean...
There's no purpose to looking over the edge. What, to see if she's alive? To see if she's okay?
No, because that's just, knee-jerk curiosity. And like I said, I was deeply concerned by what had happened to her.
You were so deeply concerned, Gable, that from her death scream to the next event, which was you calling your lawyer, was 35 seconds.
I froze on the spot and I thought, I need to do whatever is the most rational thing to do at the moment.
Although this guy is completely dead in his eyes, and you can see from the very start of the interview that this guy is dead on the inside, the eyes reveal so much for these people. This man is a perfect illustration of how these people have no empathy or compassion, and they can't fake it. And that's how he caught him. And then he saw, and you could see in his eyes, the look of concern in terms of the narcissist, in my opinion, that he was in a predicament because he didn't know how to feel, so he didn't know how to convey that he knew how to feel, because they don't. They literally don't. So he couldn't explain his choices. It is human nature to have ran out there and looked over the rail and said, oh my God, run out the front door, call an ambulance, get in the elevator, and go down the stairs if you are innocent. In my opinion, and I would assume in most of your opinions too. But these people don't know how to feel, and he wasn't sophisticated enough as one of them to do the right thing. They have no emotions. This man could give a hoot about this woman falling off this balcony. He could care less. It was mission accomplished. Man, that felt good. After he sat there and soaked it up, he decided to call his lawyer. That 30 seconds that the interviewer was talking about and so appalled by was him sucking in the narcissistic supply that this young woman had just fallen to her death, in my opinion. But this is a perfect illustration of the lack of empathy in these monsters. And again, I am stunned he wasn't convicted.
By the time I ate, I had been wandering around the streets, confused, extremely drunk and in shock, and I needed to clear my head and sober up. And so I found a place that had some food.
Warina Wright's body is on the pavement. You don't even know if she's still breathing, and you are happily munching away on a slice of Super Supreme.
There's nothing happy or casual or indulgent about it. That night, that was the most scared I've ever been. It's the most distraught I've ever been in my entire life.
Can you understand why many people would think you're a cold, heartless, cruel bastard?
When you put it that way, when that's all you say about a person with no insight or explanation, the media can make people think what the media wants people to think.
Do you see the blame shifting there unto the media? People would only think that I was a cruel, insensitive bastard, not because a young woman just fell to her death and I didn't call an ambulance, I didn't check on her, I didn't do anything. I went out and got a slice of pie, got me some pizza, had a Coke, and called my lawyer. It's the media's fault for painting me in this light. These monsters are shocking. Shockingly arrogant, stupid, and filthy. How any human being that went through that wouldn't be down there remorseful over their stupidity to put a girl on a balcony, balled up in a fetal position in their living room after calling the police, is stunning. I say this constantly. These people are not fully human. This is why this is educational. It's nothing to fear. I'm not fear mandling here. I'm saying that these people are not 10 feet tall. And they're not all at this level. But they're all very capable and would love to have been able to witness and to do what this one got away with, especially if you're their target. But what I'm saying is not to be afraid and walk around in anxiety like these people are 10 feet tall monsters that can't be defeated. Every man, every woman bleeds. I am saying to you that you have to listen to your intuition. You have to be smart in your journey in life. We are in a human jungle. There are two types of people, and some of them are parasitic. They prey on other people and seize the opportunity to cause maximum harm to people, even death. The takeaway from today's episode is intuition. Remain calm and listen to yourself. And if you're going on a first date and meeting someone, do not get intoxicated. Do not allow them to give you the drinks without you knowing what's in it. Just to be safe. The world is a different place than when I grew up. Now, does that mean there were no narcissists? No, they're everywhere. They always have been, as I stated in the beginning of this show. My point is that we are much more populated as a society. Narcissistic people are much more emboldened and thirsty and mentally ill and lack the self-agency it takes to maintain the evil that's in them. So you have to be very cognizant of the choices that you make and listen to your inner radar. We are wired for safety. And how do you get your intuition to increase more? To sit in silence more, to meditate, to shut down social media, to shut down the radio, the television, the noise, and just sit quietly with yourself. This increases your intuition radar, and you become more aware of who you are, and you become more trusting of the mechanisms that exist inside your brain and inside your body. And by doing that, you are better able to maneuver in a dangerous world. Does that make sense, you guys? I certainly hope so. I hope you found some value out of this show today. Don't leave here in fear. You are stronger and more capable than you know. The boogeyman is not that clever if you are operating at your highest level and at a higher level. Take care of yourself. Focus in on your goals, on your health, spiritually, mentally, physically. Create an agenda and a set of goals and purpose in your life. You are the captain of your soul and master of your fate, as the poem says. Take control. Take the focus off of them and put it on yourself, and trust your intuition and become friends with it, and you'll be just fine. Be willing to heal. That's number one. Be willing to heal. And a lot of times, to be able to heal, you have to first admit that you are wrong in the way that you've been living, in the way that you've been programmed. That's the first step. All right, fam? I really appreciate you guys stopping by today. I'm so grateful that you did. Thanks for hanging out with me. I hope I shared some value with you, and I'll see you on the next video. And until next time, remember, it's better to be abused, tricked, and even have your life torn apart by a narcissist than to be a narcissist. Be grateful that you're already winning in life. You could have came back, you could have been a rock or a tree or a hippopotamus or a narcissus or an ant, but you're you. Stand up again. Become fully alive. Oh, and one other thing. I'll put up that video on, what is it? Reactive abuse. So you will better understand what this young lady was going through. And you should be able to get that right there on the right of your screen. All right, you guys. Till next time, take care, fam. This is Darren Green and Fully Alive again, and I'm out.